Hello, dear ones. Welcome to your June 2024 forecast. This is a month to get excited for. There is some fresh, exciting energy coming in. We have some major transits and configurations that are bringing in movement, forward momentum, being willing to take risks and go for your goals, a fresh new start, and a lot of grace and wisdom and creativity along with that. So stay tuned and I'll get into all of the transits, all of the movements of the energy and the planets in this update so you can plan your month and really move with this energy, making the most of it for you. Hi, I'm Prema and welcome to Chart Your Path. I am so glad that you are here. I appreciate my subscribers and those who are new and those of you who are going to subscribe today. I appreciate your support. If you don't know what your Vedic Astrology Ascendant or Moon is, be sure to get my free chart calculator. The link is in the description and that will help you along with a guide to understand the houses of the chart, along with the Sacred Wealth Code quiz that gets you one of your Sacred Wealth Code archetypes. This month starts with a big focus on the sign of Taurus and the signs on each side, Aries and Gemini. The sign of Taurus, we are graced with Jupiter in Taurus for the next year to come. And Venus is there as well. And now we have Mercury, who's just joined Venus and Jupiter in Taurus. And what's so beautiful about this is when these three planets come together or are in certain configurations, it causes a Saraswati yoga. Yoga means to yoke, to bring together. So we're bringing together the knowledge-oriented planets in the energy of Taurus, this stability and grounded, practical energy of Taurus that's about wealth and abundance and security, and really asks us to focus on our personal values. There's a collective energy here for us to shift our collective values over the next year with Jupiter transiting this sign. But Mercury is going to be here helping us to sort of analyze things and communicate and create more of a plan for our values. And it's going to be uplifted by, of course, Venus and Jupiter. The sun is in this placement at this time as well. And Jupiter and Venus are great teachers, and Mercury is all about collecting of information and communicating that information. And when we put these all three together, creating the Saraswati yoga, we just have a very grace-filled energy where we're leaning more into wisdom, higher knowledge, more into grace and insight. This brings in the intensity of teaching, the energy of music and creative expression, an expression really of the divinity through our human experience. And we all have different ways that we express our creativity. It's a time for you to tap into more of that flow of inspiration, that flow of divine knowledge, and a little less on what's coming at you, but really tuning in and let that move through you. So you're influencing the outer world with your unique gifts, your creativity. This is something that, again, is slanted towards our wisdom, our knowledge, our learning. Saraswati represents the arts and music, which have so much value. The arts and music are soul languages in themselves. And it's a great time for you to pursue anything that's creative for you, whether it's in your garden or poetry or music, or that creativity is expressed through your business, your work in the world, writing. Super wonderful, shiny time this first 2 weeks of the month that we have until June 12th, when Venus will break the Saraswati and move into Gemini. So this will want to be expressed in a more practical way because it is in Taurus. And Taurus, again, is all about our personal values, wealth, abundance, stability. On the shadow side here, luxury and pleasure and comfort and the finer things in life are all beautiful and wonderful. And we should all partake in all of those things to a degree. The shadow side is overindulging in those things. And Taurus can also be a bit stubborn on the shadow side. So just get into this, will help you just get into the flow of energy. So really take some time to go out and enjoy music and art and let it come through you in any which way that it does. Read things, share ideas about it, and really express yourself creatively. If you're ready to start something new or make a big investment, it is a good time to do that in this first 2 weeks of June, actually all of June. We've got great energy this month. So with that, there might be a project or something. It's a great time. So enjoy this energy, make really good use of it. Get out and get some new experiences to help get this energy and ideas moving through you. June 1st, Mars moved into Aries, and it'll be there till July 12th. So what's so fabulous about this is it hasn't been here for 2 years, and it is the ascendant lord of the zodiac. So this is like that beginning of the zodiac is Aries, and that we had the Vedic New Year when the sun moved into Aries, but now the owner of Aries, Mars, our great honorable warrior, moves into this placement. And this is going to fire us up. It has been tied up with the north node of the moon, the magician, the Rahu, and it has been a challenging time in that way, but it's just come through Gandanta at the end of May, and on the 1st moves into Aries. Now, this signifies action. Mars is about our responsibilities, our duties in life. It's productivity. We want to get stuff done. And so expect for, new developments and a new start, a fresh start to things. And this can be about yourself personally. It can be about making a big change in life. It can be about starting, a new project, a new job, a new relationship. And it also depends on what Aries represents for you in your chart. So is it your first house, your identity, who you are? Is it your 10th house of career? Is it your 12th house of spirituality? So depending on where it is for you, in which house it is in, then you also get to understand a little bit more about how this energy plays out for you. But it's going to give you the courage to take some kind of a big leap towards your goals, towards your dreams. It can really help you to create some profound change in whatever area of life, but this is in yourself and how you're moving forward. What have you been holding back on? What have you been you kind of know you want to start, or you want to get going with, or you want to finish, but you just haven't had the oomph to do it, and maybe you've even beaten yourself up a bit about that, that you just haven't been able to get to it. Well, it's been a little bit tough where Mars has been, but now we've got that energy, that fire behind us. So we want to use it wisely. Mars in this placement also can be a little bit, it is the honorable warrior, so it could be a little bit warrior type and volatile if we don't have something good to focus on. An honorable warrior takes its direction from one of the Brahmins. It takes its direction from Jupiter, and Jupiter, in fact, is Mars's older brother. And so it takes its spiritual direction, and then it's there to practically move it out in the world. So this can really help you to take a risk if you need to take a risk, and a calculated risk at that, because also we have Saturn aspecting Aries. So we've got our great organizer with that third aspect on Aries, which will keep a watchful eye on the honorable warrior so that we are not overly taking risks. Look, at anytime you want to make a change, anytime you want to do something new, birth something and have your gifts really come out and through you and create something, it's a little bit risky when we don't know exactly how it is going to play out. But anything new and different that we want to create is going to be in the unknown. So this is going to give us the jolt of energy that we need for this, and it's an exciting time for that. Now, Scorpio this month, I also want to mention, is aspected by all the planets until mid-June. So the sign of Scorpio, aspected by Saturn, aspected by Mars, aspected directly straight across the chart by Mercury, Jupiter, and Venus, and the Sun. And actually also once we come up close to the new moon, then the moon itself will be involved here too as well. So this is a very powerful time for Scorpio, and I want to say the whole year for Scorpio is going to be under the aspect of Jupiter end of Saturn, really activating that sign. So where's Scorpio in your chart? Is that your ascendant? Is that you? Are you ready for the breakthrough? Is that another part? Is that your seventh house of relationship, your sixth house of wealth and life work balance? So know where Scorpio is in your chart too, because there's some major energy playing out there. On June 1st, also lots happening at the beginning of the month. Uranus moves into Taurus and stays in the sign for 7 years. So it hasn't been in Taurus for 84 years. In Vedic astrology, we look at the outer planets, we look at them as secondary, and really when they're in conjunction with other planets within a degree or two is really where they're the most powerful. They're not planets of light. They don't reflect the light of the sun, shadow planets. But it is significant when that planet actually moves. So in Taurus, it is going to be bringing us sort of breakthrough and breakdown energy, because whenever you break through something, there's usually something that has to break down. It brings the unexpected changes. It brings the revolutionary energy to the sign of Taurus. And again, Taurus is all about our values, our wealth, our abundance, our stability, our foundation. And can be it's a fixed sign, and which is great for stability, but not so great for change, and not so great for when we're too stuck and too stubborn. So it can kind of shake things up there. So we'll talk more about Uranus as it conjuncts with other planets. Jupiter, June 4th, there's a Mercury conjunction with Jupiter in Taurus at 7 degrees. And this is going to expand our communication. It's really going to bring in our communication from a level of knowledge and sharing through more wisdom. Taurus is grounded and practical, of course, but it really helps with hope and optimism and bringing in some wise insights to the way we're looking at things, the way we're thinking, and the way we're communicating. It can bring some sort of enlightened planning around our finances and some decisions. So it's a good time that day, June 4th, to reconnect and really tune in and look at some decisions or communication that you need to make or would like to make, or planning around finances, and do it from your wisdom, from a higher level. How do you do that? You tune in first. You drop into your heart first. You find out what your soul, what your heart is desiring for you, or for that communication, or for your wealth. It's a tuning in process, and then bringing your analytical thinking to that process. So you've got your wisdom and your nice, sharp, analytical mind. June 5th, the sun conjuncts Venus at 21 degrees of Taurus. And on this day, we may experience relationship breakthroughs. That this is our great connector, Venus, with the leader, with the sun, the soul. And this may help us to resolve something. Venus at this time, after it conjuncts, is going to be moving in front of the sun. And so it'll have the sun's light behind it. And so this can really bring some kind of a breakthrough or resolution in relationship that day. This is a wonderful day to be connecting in the Venus sort of way, which is also the artist, through our creativity, our music, our art, and connecting in with others. June 6th, we'll have a new moon, a brilliant new moon in Taurus at 22 degrees of Rohini. Now, I'll bring you an update for this, but this is the Queen, and it is in Taurus's sign, which is ruled by Venus, the connector. This is a very powerful new moon, as Rohini is the moon's favorite nakshatra. It spends more time in Rohini nakshatra than any other nakshatra. Rohini is a great manifesting, attracting nakshatra. So it's a great new moon for new beginnings. It's really powerful for setting our new intentions for our financial stability. And, in the times we're living in, and the inflation that we're seeing, and, what is the actual value? And it's a really good time for us to pull back from that and set some new intentions around our wealth and our finances and our personal values. This will highlight family security, and it's just really good for practical new beginnings around not just material wealth, but the pleasure that we want to have in life. Most of us don't experience as much pleasure and joy, like true joy, true pleasure, not just checking out and sort of comfort, and we think we're having pleasure, but like true pleasure. And there's a part of us that's built for that. So that real true enjoyment and the fulfillment that can come from that. So I will do another update, a full update for the new moon, but it is, mark your calendar, it is a really powerful new moon for us to be setting some new intentions. June 12th, we have this start of a shift of energy to Gemini. And it first starts with Venus, and Venus will be in Gemini from June 12th through July 6th. And then it'll get followed by the Sun joining it and Mercury joining it. Gemini is, all about our connecting and curiosity. It is ruled by Mercury. It's a place of fun and ideas and sharing of knowledge being expressed with our words and writing and talking and learning things and just really being curious with information. We don't need to be a know-it-all, but if the more curious we are, actually the more we learn, the more we're willing to connect with others, then we get more of that sort of intellectual fulfillment. We connect with others on the emotional level, the intellectual level, and the physical level, and they're all very important. So it's a great time to take the time to connect with friends, do some networking, to talk about the work that you're doing in the world if you're an entrepreneur. It's good to socialize. It is moving away from the sun, so the combustion is fading at this point and will be faded by June 21st, which is just after the solstice and on the full moon. So this is a wonderful time also to really network about your business, even look at your business plan. And here we are halfway through the year, and where are you with that? And maybe it's time to revamp that plan. So really great energy to use for that. But do it in a way that is fun and that you're connecting with others. So if you're part of a mastermind, if you're not, it's a good time to, connect in with others that who get you and you can bounce some ideas off of. On June 14th, Mercury and the Sun both move to Gemini and join Venus there. And it's a really good transit for the Sun. This is where we're going to, lead with our communication, more of that Gemini energy and our intellectual ideas. And Mercury's moving really fast now. Mercury's going to be moving through 3 signs this month. It moved into Taurus on the 31st of May. It's moving on the 14th into Gemini, and at the end of the month it's going to move into Cancer. So it's whizzing right along. Mercury is so interesting because Mercury, again, a great communicator, a great merchant. Mercury moves really fast and then it retrogrades and it stays in a sign for about 2 months. So it's interesting in that way. So we look at more where Mercury's retrograding for the year over, how it's really affecting us, what we're really focusing on. Mercury is the winged messenger and, brings that speed of our intellect when it's moving, especially through the signs that it's moving through at this time, because it owns Gemini. It does very well in Taurus. It's a friend of Venus, and it does well in Cancer as well. So Mercury is super comfortable here, at home in its sign, again, the communicator. And again, it's a very social and sort of networky and communication time and good for your projects. On June 20th is the summer solstice in the northern hemisphere, the winter solstice in the southern hemisphere. And then, we're at that halfway point where, the year is balanced, time is balanced, light and dark is balanced, so to speak, for a moment in time. Because balance is actually constant, unified movement. When we are balanced, we're balanced within our center, and we know where to compensate to bring other things into balance. I'll talk about that more around the solstice, but the solstice and the full moon happening so close together, one day apart. June 21st is the full moon at 6 degrees of Sagittarius in the nakshatra of Mula at the galactic center. This is a very rich, transformative place. I will do a full moon update as well. And it's really a major spiritual growth period of time, deep emotional healing, clearing out those things to help us really focus on higher knowledge. It'll help us to untie those karmic knots of the past. And it is, really helps us to get past those negative blocks that really hinder our spiritual growth. We've got to take that time inward to really grow spiritually, and then the time outward to connect in with the information, to use our intuition, things that expand us and help us to be more on our soul path. And so this will help us to really, release some of that karmic baggage that holds us back from really aligning with our true purpose. And again, I'll get into all of that with the full moon update, and I will be doing a full moon healing circle as I do every month on the full moon. On June 29th, Mercury moves into Cancer. Yep, the third sign this month. And it's, such a deeply feeling sign of home and family. Cancer is ruled by the great nurturer, ruled by the moon, and it's a sign of empaths. It is a very devotional, heart-devoted sign and a place of real intuitive thinking, home and family. It really is about nurturing, and nurturing doesn't mean overgiving, and that's kind of the shadow side of this energy of Cancer. And we'll talk about that a little bit more as more planets move into Cancer, but we're going to be more nurturing in our thoughts and in our communication. The way that we do that is to be connected with our heart, which is wonderful if we can all the time. Sometimes we are a talking head, and that's just the way it is sometimes. But Cancer really asks us to connect into the emotion that goes along with those thoughts. And again, when we have a clear intention of thought and we have an emotion, this is how we work the energetics of conscious creation. So it's a really wonderful time to be very mindful and full of heart in our communication. You're going to see your empathy in your communication and hopefully receive that from others where that is needed. And, we can really creatively express our emotions with this Mercury here. So that's makes for very sensitive communication. And so it's a great time to have those sorts of communications that need a little bit more sensitivity, that we need to be a little bit more heart tapped in. And first we have to listen to our own heart before we can communicate and with somebody else's heart as well. On June 29th, Saturn is going to turn retrograde. It's in Aquarius at 25 degrees. It's almost been standstill for a month by now. And, it's a very slow moving planet. So it retrogrades for almost half the year. So it's most relevant when it turns retrograde and when it turns direct. For the things that Aquarius represents, our humanitarianism, our social purpose, and whatever that it represents for you personally, where is that in your chart? This is where the chart calculator is so helpful, but where is that in your chart, Aquarius? Because you're going to be rethinking some of the things and reevaluating some of the things that represents. Now, on a general level, it is about community. It is about, again, our social purpose, our social ideals, also business and career. So those are some of the greater themes that we'll be reevaluating, but again, it'll mean something finer for you. And when we have this kind of reevaluation, we've got quite a long time to kind of go back over some of the decisions we've made and what are we really doing here and how's our purpose really serving the world. And then we get to evaluate that, and as it turns direct, course correct. So that's one of the beauties of retrograde planets. They go forward and then we take a step back and then, okay, what do we need to shift and change here? So this June brings in this really great energy of a fresh new start, great communication, connecting in, creativity, knowledge, grace. It's a real fundamental shift. And it's a great time if there's anything about yourself that you want to shift. Love to hear from you what it is that you're wanting to shift and just what you're restarting. That will be also a wonderful thing for me to hear. So I'd love your input on what's going on for you. If you're interested in getting a reading with me and understanding more of what's going on for you this year, at this time, go ahead and check the links down below. All my reading links are there, as well as my courses and all my free gifts and the full moon healing circle. We've also got all the Sacred Wealth Code materials, the oracle cards, the journal, which has a daily practice and some meditations, and also my book, Your Sacred Wealth Code, Unlock Your Soul Blueprint for Purpose and Prosperity. So they're all offered on my website, linked down below, and on Amazon too. You can get all of those. So leave me a comment. Let me know, what's shifting, what's changing for you. And I look forward to being with you again real soon.